this for you if you get all of your stamps and your passport checked off. So please visit all of the booths. A lot of great resources here today. We also have some premium prizes, some really good stuff. I'll just call them off because they're worth mentioning. We got $25 gift certificates from the Grove, from the Beverly Center. They're doing Apple gift cards. The Beverly Center also contributed a 6-month unlimited parking pass at the Beverly Center. That's a pretty big deal if you know that parking stuff in that area. Museum passes from the Peterson Museum. They have a beautiful old vintage vehicle in the back. Also, you'll see the old Rosa Parks replica bus behind us here. So as you make the rounds, please explore the whole grounds. We also have contributions from LACMA, Natural History Museum, Marciano Museum, and I want to give a shout out to a few special participants here, the food vendors. There's some free food samples over here. LA's champion for a lot of items, transportation, small businesses, community, the 42nd Mayor of Los Angeles, Mayor Eric Garcetti.
Give it up for JC. Come on, make some noise for him. Thank you. And thank you for kicking off the program, JC. How's everybody doing? Happy Sunday. I'm still dressed for church because I was over at West Angeles Church, but I wore my purple tie to celebrate with all these incredible folks that are up here today. I want to thank my fellow elected officials and board members. You'll be hearing from all of them in a minute. But, you know, I live a half a block from the construction of this great Purple Line. And so I get to hear and see every single day the progress that is happening. And what an amazing project this is. I want to thank Tom LaBonge, who helped get the environmental on this when people said we shouldn't just stop at Western, former council member. I want to thank Xavier Oslavsky, who you hear from, but he really was a champion of this from the beginning on the MTA Metro board. My fellow board members who are here with us today, Jackie Dupont-Walker, and the one and only Supervisor Mark Ridley-Thomas, who has continued to push this, and the Crenshaw line, which is close to opening as well, which was a dream. And my fellow mayor, John Mirisch of Beverly Hills, is in the house. We appreciate you and your leadership, as well as the great council member of the 4th District, whose district we are in here. He has all of the fossils on his side of the street, but he is a young man still. Please congratulate David Rue as well. And I know Metro CEO Phil Washington's going to be here in a second. Let's thank all of our Metro workers, staff, all the folks who spend time as contractors building this out. It really is the men and women of Metro who make this county move. So let's give them a round of applause as well. Now, the most powerful person where we are right now is Dr. Lori Bedison Varga, who is the scientist in charge of our natural sciences here. And if you haven't spent some time in the Natural History Museum, the Page Museum, you should. You know, while we've been building, this is the best place in the world, we're told, to find fossils. Like not just like in Los Angeles, not just in the country, Ice Age fossils. This is the best place in the world to find Ice Age fossils. So always look down when you're walking around. You never know what you're going to find. But while we've been doing the construction, among other things, we found an entire maybe 2,000 to 3,000 pound giant sloth and a mammoth head, complete mammoth skull that I've seen. It's being cleaned in that museum right now by scientists. It's extraordinary. So every single day, you know, I was talking to the scientist the paleontologist who was assigned to this from Metro. She said she dreamed that at some point in her career, she'd be able to get a mammoth skull. Well, one day we hit one here, we found one. And because this is an active construction site, she says usually it takes 2 or 3 months to get that out. She had basically one night to dig that out. There she is, right there. There's our hero. Remind me, come on up here. Look, and bring some bones with you. Hey, yeah, contractor with Metro, but we'll have her come up here and explain some stuff, because for the kids especially that are here, it is so awesome. Come on up. Okay. All right. Why don't you tell everybody what you got here today? Please welcome Ashley.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. I am the paleontologist archaeologist working for Cogstone Resource Management. We're the team that's overseeing the fossils that are being found during the excavation. And of course, I'm here with a table full of fossils that you can come by and see, take pictures with, and even get to touch. To give you an idea of what we're finding, in my arm here, this large one is the lower jaw from a giant ground sloth. These animals were the size of basically a Volkswagen Bug. And then this one in my other hand doesn't look impressive, but everybody look at your hand. Look at one of your knuckles and know that this is a knuckle from a mammoth. Gives you an idea just how big these animals were. So please come by the Cogstone booth. I'd love to show you some of the fossils we're finding. Thank you so much. I would shake your hand.
It's all right, don't worry. Tom LeBonge wants to take a picture. He's the chronicler of Los Angeles.
Perfect, thank you.
After Gary Leonard, of course, who's around here as well. And if you can't get to those fossils, just touch Mark Ridley-Thomas. You want to touch a fossil? Right there. No, he's still a young man. We love him. So we are so excited to celebrate. I also want to give a shout out to our city department today. Our Los Angeles Police Department, our police officers that are here, thank you for all you do. Texas, thank you, Sergeant. I know we got senior lead officers that are here too. Wilshire Division and others that are close by. I also want to thank our Department of Transportation, everybody who helped us make this possible here today. So we are pushing closer and closer to the goal of making sure you can get from Century City downtown in 20 minutes. How does that sound? 20 minutes. No matter how bad the traffic is, 20 minutes from Century City to downtown, and soon thereafter all the way to the VA. This is a dream that we have had for years, a dream that Tom Bradley and Richard Alatorre and so many people in the past started, one that has been continued by leadership, but really it's not about leaders up here, it's about the city of Los Angeles not only demanding this, but passing Measure R and passing Measure M. These are your tax dollars that you work hard to put to work at work. So today, we celebrate the halfway mark, that we are halfway there. We expect Section 1 of the Purple Line to open in 2023, and it'll improve travel times between downtown and West LA and places in between, wonderful cities like Beverly Hills, places like Century City, and of course, the Miracle Mile. But it'll bring people here to the cultural heart of this city too. The museums that we have, the finest anywhere. LACMA is going to undergo an amazing renewal and rebuilding. Of course, we have the Page Museum, we've got the Peterson Museum, we've got the AMPUS, the Motion Picture Academy Museum, almost ready to open as well. And we expect 33,000 people to hop aboard every single day. And whatever we predict, usually on these rail lines, we far exceed. So at least that. We'll be able to make sure that people are connected to their jobs, they're connected to their families, they have more time with their kids and less time fighting traffic. And so, hopefully on a Friday night, instead of figuring out how you get into a car, you can get on the subway and come here to enjoy jazz, or a Saturday night, some Latin music. Take your kids and be able to see the best that the city has to offer. And by 2028, when the Paralympics and Olympics roll around, you can go between the Olympic Village and all the events that'll be downtown and beyond. The grand opening of what was then just the Red Line in 1993 was a huge infrastructure milestone for our city. That helped us lead to Measure R, and that passage extended this vision. Set us on a path to 2016 when you passed the largest infrastructure package in American history ×2 to extend or build 15 rapid transit lines throughout Los Angeles. We're building those lines, but we're also, and I don't know if any of you get a chance to talk to some of the construction workers, but there's 787,000 middle-class jobs that we need in this city. Not only to fight poverty, but to buy homes, send people to college, all that things. These are recession-proof jobs in the middle of LA County. And we're continuing the work that Mayor Bradley and others began, because finishing the world-class transit system that you deserve is our goal. We launched also 28 by 28, to have 28 projects done by the time the world comes here for those Paralympic and Olympic Games. And we're going to finish these 28 projects on time, no ifs, ands, or buts. And the Purple Line is one of those key projects to improve mobility and the quality of life for everybody. So let me turn over to some of my fellow speakers. I also want to say one other pitch. We've got an election coming up on Tuesday. Who knew there was an election on Tuesday? There's no mayors, council members, supervisors, presidents, we can talk about that another day, on the ballot. There is only one thing on the ballot: our children. It's Measure EE, and allows us, you saw all the teachers that went out on strike in January and how Many tens of thousands of Angelenos said public education matters. Well, I hope you will come out on Tuesday and vote on Measure EE that would help us reduce our class sizes, hire counselors, make sure that there are nurses more than one day a week in all of our public schools, because every kid deserves a great school. So don't forget to vote on Tuesday. I hope you'll join me in supporting that as well. So with that, let me turn it over to my brother in arms. He has been the man who I have worked hand in hand with on everything from the fight to end homelessness to the fight to extend public transportation. He is a public servant I've served with, and we're both council members. He's now a supervisor. Please welcome your supervisor, Mark Ridley-Thomas.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Why don't we give the mayor of the city of Los Angeles a big round of applause for his leadership. He's worked hard on behalf of the people of this city and beyond in the area of transportation and a host of other issues. I want to say that it's important for me to be here and embrace him. Anybody who can publicly reduce me to being a fossil ought to get another round of applause. Thank you. Yeah. At least I enjoy the status of extinction to be distinguished from irrelevancy. Thank you so much. So we want to welcome you to the Purple Line Phase 1 Halfway There event here in the Miracle Mile. Is there a Miracle Mile in the house today? Give them a big round of applause. Love that. A portion of the Miracle Mile, as well as Koreatown areas, are the areas that I represent on the Board of Supervisors, part of the 2nd Supervisorial District, and we are proud of that fact. And what happens here is of prime importance to me to ensure that the needs of this community will be well served. And I want to say right now that the Metro staff puts a lot of energy into making sure that they are responsive to the claims and the concerns of the community. We know that this sort of infrastructure work can be very disruptive, but we will not be inattentive. We have not been, and this is particularly crucial during construction of one of the largest infrastructure projects in the county of LA without exception. The CEO of this transit agency makes it clear that we are in the midst of what he describes as a transportation revolution right here in the county of Los Angeles. So give Phil Washington a big round of applause for his insight, his leadership, and the like for the entire Metro staff. And so this is an important day for us to be here just to send a signal that we will not ignore even the smallest of details. This is a multi-billion-dollar investment that we believe will fundamentally change the way we navigate the region's 2 biggest populations and job centers. It's essential that we build this project right and with due consideration paid to how projects of this magnitude will impact the local community. We want to state that with regularity. Why? Because how we experience this sets the stage for how we will enjoy it in the near term. So I'm heartened that Metro is paying the kind of attention, is being proactive, and it's a rigorous kind of attention to detail because construction requires that. And I pay pretty close attention to this issue. My staff, Lacey Johnson, and the whole team, we do so because it's simply important and it speaks to the quality of life of our whole community. And so this does not mean that we get it all right all the time. It does mean that we are willing to hear and we're willing to go back to the drawing board and to get it right eventually. That's what this is about. It's not about perfection, it's about progress, and I can tell you significant progress is being made. And so reaching the halfway point for Section 1 is truly a significant milestone. I want to say, Tom, you are again a part of history. This is history making, and we know that to be the case. The Miracle Mile and Koreatown will be the primary beneficiaries of this phase. mobility matters. These improvements will make a difference in terms of air quality, jobs, as the mayor has indicated, and even more. And so we look forward to continuing to engage you, to celebrate with you. And if you agree with that, why don't you just clap your hands and say, "Go Metro! Go Metro! Go Metro!" Thank you very kindly.
Mark Ridley-Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Mark. Next, I'd like Jackie Dupont-Walker, who, you know, everybody else who's on the board at Metro is an elected official. We are real people, but she is a real person. In the sense, she is a everyday citizen who uses Metro, who advocates for the inclusion of small business owners, who's made sure that while we're doing the Crenshaw line, businesses can stay open in the heartland of this city, and so much more. Please welcome your representative on the board of Metro, Jackie Dupont-Walker.
Good afternoon. And I sit on the board because I'm appointed by Mayor Eric Garcetti. The Metro Purple Line extension really is a game changer, as we've already heard. It is one of the most important transit projects for mobility that we will have in this region. We've talked about the Olympics 2028 and the Paralympics, but what's really important is the legacy that we are fulfilling. The legacy that we heard first from Tom Bradley and Julian Dixon and those who came in between. And we are proud to be faithful to that. We now see the opportunity in this visionary 21st century and beyond construction that our CEO, Phil Washington, talks about, of having one-seat rides across this county. The Crenshaw LAX line that we've waited for so long is expected to carry some 80 million travelers when it opens in 2020. Another line that is planned is the regional connector in downtown Los Angeles, and that will seamlessly connect the Gold, Blue, and Expo through downtown. In so doing, it will be a one-seat ride from the San Gabriel Valley. Now listen to this, all the way to Long Beach, and from East LA all the way to Santa Monica. The connector will make trips and go through downtown faster with fewer transfers. The Gold Line Foot Line Construction Authority is also planning to extend the Gold Line further into the San Gabriel Valley. The first stop will be Laverne or Pomona. The Construction Authority is working to secure additional funding so that it will go to Montclair and on to San Bernardino County. With all these projects, Metro is very concerned about being a good neighbor, as our mayor and Supervisor Ridley-Thomas have already said. But I am personally very interested and want you to know the details of what Metro is doing to be a good neighbor. Yes, there are jobs, and please go back to the area where the subs and the vendors are. Learn more about the jobs. There are subcontracting opportunities. Please learn more about that and spread the word. We are encouraging our community and the people of this county and our visitors to go to the restaurants, eat, shop, and play. There's a table so you can learn more about being a part of that program. But in particular, the mom and pop businesses that generally have an issue can take advantage of the Business Interruption Fund if they have suffered economic losses doing Metro construction. These programs show that Metro is attentive to those details, that Metro cares about the community that has voted in order for us to have funds to do this wonderful project. Here in Mid-Wilshire District, I'm giving my hearty congratulations to everyone for reaching this goal on time and safely. And we know that we're going to go the rest of the way on time and safely. So we'll stay together as a team. Metro is pleased to have the wonderful people that work for Metro, but you as a community participating in the community activities as advisory council, the community PAC, are very important for us to hear you as we go along. So at this midway point, congratulations to everyone. I'm going to pat myself on the back too.
All right.
Thank you so much, Jackie Dupont-Walker. When it comes to transportation, people don't care where city boundaries begin and end. This is one town. And so we are so pleased to have Beverly Hills Mayor John Mirisch here. He has been a leader in more biking and bike lanes in his city, in more electrification of vehicles and a more sustainable future, and working with us to make sure that we have a smooth ride all the way through the beautiful city of Beverly Hills. Please welcome Beverly Hills Mayor John Mirisch.
Thank you so much, Mayor Garcetti. Good morning to all. I'd like to thank Metro CEO Phil Washington for the invitation extended to me to speak at the celebration of this milestone of the Purple Line Section 1. Now, whatever disagreements we may have had about specifics, the City of Beverly Hills has always been a strong supporter of public transportation and of a subway coming to our city. And we're making progress. We're also excited that so many fossil discoveries were made during the Wilshire-La Cienega excavation, and I'm hoping we get a chance to display some of them in Beverly Hills. As the project draws closer to the opening day, we're looking forward to the Purple Line extension and to help provide more transportation options for our many community members and tourists alike. In preparation of the opening of the Purple Line metro stations in Beverly Hills, the city is focusing on first last mile solutions to allow our residents and visitors to have free use and to get to and from the stations. Our first last mile solutions include plans to develop a municipal autonomous shuttle system to be used throughout our town. Subway, fixed heavy rail, is essentially old school 19th century transportation, and we look forward to combining 21st century technology like autonomous vehicles, which can be integrated into public transportation and can move us towards the goal of on-demand, point-to-point mobility. And that, my friends, will mean people will actually use public transportation not because they have to, but because they want to. This expanded mobility will also inform the way we plan and develop urban areas, and we're excited to help develop new urban planning paradigms such as AOD, autonomous-oriented development, which will create more livable communities than some of the older, less successful models. Transportation is just one of many ways we work together regionally, and local and regional solutions are almost always the best for our diverse communities. We don't need Sacramento politicians telling us what's best for our communities or region when it comes to infrastructure, transportation, or housing for that matter. Communities, each one of our unique, diverse communities, are the solution, not the problem. I'm pleased our city staff is working collaboratively with Los Angeles County MTA, and we look forward to continuing to work together to make the public transportation experience in Beverly Hills and in our entire region as efficient, safe, and yes, as enjoyable as possible. Thank you all very much, and look forward to riding the subway with all of you.
Thank you, Mayor. Next, the council member for the 4th District who represents this area. He's also my council member. Please welcome David Rue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and to all the illustrious leaders and elected officials of past and present who worked through the decades to make today possible. And of course, thank all of you, Los Angeles, for coming today to celebrate this milestone. Give yourselves a round of applause. As the LA City Council member representing the Miracle Mile, I spent a lot of time thinking about this region's future, and I could not be more excited than what lays ahead. When the mile was born about 100 years ago, it was a little more than tar fields and oil derricks, and very few believed in its future and laughed at the idea of this area becoming a commercial center. It was often referred to as Ross's folly, mocking the businessman who wanted to develop this area. But in just 2 decades, this stretch of Wilshire Boulevard became a commercial and cultural hub, anchored by famous department stores and iconic architecture. Today, we stand at the beating heart of Los Angeles' art and culture. And at the dawn of this renaissance, the Miracle Mile will soon welcome a reimagined LACMA, a revitalized Museum Row, a brand new Academy Museum of Motion Pictures. And at this epicenter of history, arts, and culture will be the connections made by the new Purple Line extension. This region, like the rest of our city, is expected to grow. And only by building a state-of-the-art metro center system with beautiful stations and tools to solve the first and last mile problems, will this growth be sustainable and positive for our neighborhoods? Our region's past was defined by the automobile, but its future will be defined by vibrant communities, walkable streets, and multimodal transportation. The next chapter seems ambitious and even hard to imagine, but in the unlikely story of the Miracle Mile, ambition is what makes the Miracle Mile a reality. We are in the middle of this renaissance, and with it comes growing pains. But as I worked with the community and with Metro to address the concerns of local businesses and neighbors, I've been proud of what we were able to accomplish together, to keep these boring machines moving and to mitigate the impacts to our local community. When you think about it, it's pretty amazing. We're able to build twin subway tunnels and multiple large subway stations while still keeping the traffic and businesses flowing above ground. And when they're all open in 2023, this will bring new life to this region, new visitors to our businesses and museums, and allow for new housing that we desperately need, all without adding a single car on our roads. That is what sustainable and promising growth looks like. That is how we build for our city's future, and that is how we renew the miracle on the Miracle Mile. Thank you.
Positively poetic, thank you. I was handed a note because I know there's some Spanish language media too, so quiero decir unas palabras en español también. There we go. Got a fan over there. Y quiero dar mis gracias a mi papá. I want to thank my dad. I was just, Tom Labanja had a sign that says, your father is here. I don't know where you are, Dad, but thank you for having me. Oh, there he is. The great Gil Garcetti. Thank you. I literally wouldn't be here without him. And my mother, Suki. Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The mayor said he's going dancing. Is that what we heard? Great. Listen, this is really a transportation revolution, as was mentioned a little bit earlier. We've reached a new milestone in the delivery of the Purple Line extension, one of the most important transit projects in LA County and also in the country as well. Thanks to the support of the local community, and I want to thank Beverly Hills Mayor John Mirisch as well. Metro has been able to reach this 50% completion of the first leg of this project between Koreatown and Beverly Hills. This is no small accomplishment given the fact that we are working under one of the busiest, most congested urban corridors in the United States. This mid-Wilshire community deserves the greatest respect for enduring Metro's ongoing construction work on a daily basis for the last 5 years. And while we have taken every possible measure to minimize the impacts of our work on their daily lives, we are fully aware that construction can sometimes be a tough neighbor. So this is especially true during major construction operations that close local lanes to traffic for days or weeks at a time. But I'm here to deliver good news today and to let you know that we are on time and on schedule for the completion of this first project by 2023. And let me just give you a brief summary of our major construction progress so far. Since this first section of the project began in late 2014, we've had several key milestones. In early 2015, we began relocating utilities beneath Wilshire Boulevard to clear the way for future construction. In late 2015, we began inserting metal beams known as piles into the ground at Wilshire La Brea to create a station box boundary. In 2016, we decked over the street at our first station site at Wilshire and La Brea. This work enabled us to provide a temporary road surface on Wilshire Boulevard and allow us to begin our station excavation work below. It was mentioned a little earlier that we found the first Ice Age fossils, and no, it was not Supervisor Ridley-Thomas. our paleontologist, Codstone Resource Management uncovered a skull and tusk from a juvenile Colombian mammoth just 15 feet below the ground. We have since found more than 500 fossils of numerous Ice Age mammals or animals during our station excavation work. In early 2017, we decked over our second station site at Wilshire and Fairfax, and in late 2017, we decked over our third and final station at Wilshire and La Cienega. Today's Metro's contractor, Skanska Taylor Shea, has completed excavation of both the Wilshire and Fairfax stations. So we are now just 20 feet away from reaching the bottom of Wilshire La Cienega station. In late 2018, we launched our tunnel boring machines from Wilshire La Brea. They are now tunneling east to the Wilshire Western Purple Line station. We expect those tunnel boring machines to break through to this terminal station within the next week or so. When they do, we will reach another milestone that is very important in connecting with the Purple Line, the existing Purple Line subway itself. Once they break through, we'll move those TVMs back to Wilshire and La Brea, where they will be launched again westward to Wilshire La Cienega in Beverly Hills. We've accomplished a tremendous amount of work in the last few years. There's more work to be done, of course, to reach our completion date in the next 36 months or so. But today is a celebration of how far we've gotten with the help of the community of residents and businesses that call Wilshire Boulevard their home. With your continued support, we will meet our schedule and open a high-capacity, high-speed subway line that will transform transportation between West Side, downtown LA, and many other parts of our region. So thank you for working with Metro to build the Purple Line subway. I want to thank our construction team for their excellent work, led by Rick Clark, who is the chief of our program management group. I want to also thank the project manager on this project, Jim Cohen. I don't see Jim here, but Jim has done an excellent job. Scott McConnell is here, and of course our contractor, Skanska Taylor Shea, a joint venture, and of course the entire Metro Construction and Community Relations team. We are indeed in the midst of a transportation revolution. Thank you so much.